When a girl named Mel brought her python to the vet, she was convinced the animal was sick and facing some serious danger. The ultrasound results left her speechless. It turned out the deadly danger had been threatening her all along. Many considered Mel strange, partly because she was covered in piercings and had a huge tattoo. But one day, she surprised everyone even more by getting herself a huge python as a pet. Mel was satisfied. The snake required little care and didn't bark incessantly like some restless little dogs. Her relatives and friends were shocked by her decision, but she only smiled mysteriously whenever anyone talked to her about it. Mel wasn't afraid of snakes. In fact, she had always been fascinated by them. Of course, Mel kept her pet, whom she named Fang, hidden from her neighbors. She bought him a large vivarium with a powerful heat lamp. Everything seemed fine, except that Mel wanted to interact with her unusual pet without any barriers. So she decided to let Fang out of his enclosure and place him on her bed with her. At first, the python curled up and then stretched out along his owner's entire body. Mel really enjoyed this. Fang was warm and soft, which brought her a sense of calm and joy. The python also seemed content. Mel decided she would let her pet out of the vivarium every evening, and that's exactly what she started doing. Soon, Fang grew fond of wrapping himself around her legs. Mel believed the snake was protecting her this way. She was now even proud to have gotten a python as a pet. Who else could boast such a protector? One night, Mel unexpectedly woke up. Fang was not beside her. She didn't pay much attention to this and fell back asleep. Meanwhile, Fang lay on the floor. But in the morning, he returned to the bed and, as usual, coiled around his owner's legs. However, strange things continued. The python suddenly stopped eating. He even refused his favorite treat. It seemed something was really bothering him. He returned to the vivarium very reluctantly, and this behavior persisted for several days. Now, Mel was seriously worried. She decided her beloved pet was sick and took him to the vet. What if he was facing serious danger? Mel told the specialist everything that had been happening with the snake recently, and he began examining the animal. An external examination didn't clarify anything, so the vet took the python into the ultrasound room. The specialist assumed the snake had simply eaten something unsuitable for it, but that was not the case at all. When the vet showed Mel the scan results, she was astonished. The python's digestive tract was practically empty. Fang had stopped eating not because he was sick, but because he was preparing to swallow an enormous meal. All this time, he had been stretching out along his owner's body to measure and rehearse how he would one day swallow her whole. It's known that pythons often eat prey much larger than themselves, and it's happened more than once that huge pythons have swallowed soundly sleeping humans. The vet also suggested the snake would have attacked in about 2 days, so if Mel had not gone to the specialist, she would surely have ended up eaten by her own pet. Mel was so shocked that she didn't even know how to respond. She just stood there in bewilderment, turning over in her head the fact that Fang had never actually shown her love as she had thought all this time. The animal had simply been eyeing her calculatingly. Python had never guarded her or tried to protect her. It had always perceived her only as potential prey. It was difficult to accept and come to terms with this. So what happened next? Perhaps it will seem strange to some, but Mel did not get rid of Fang. She simply returned him to the vivarium, securely locked the enclosure, and moved it far from her bedroom. However, Mel still wanted to believe that snakes could become great pets. Maybe she had just been unlucky. No, wait, she had been lucky after all, extremely so. Now, every time Mel went to bed, she could only think about everything that had happened recently. If Fang had attacked her one night, would she have woken up and escaped, or would she have been swallowed by her own pet? This thought haunted her incessantly. Well, everyone decides for themselves what kind of animals to keep and what risks to take. But still, before doing anything, it wouldn't hurt to think carefully about all the possible consequences in advance. See you soon.